Good day. So, my name is Jonah. I'm going to be your instructor today, and today I'm going to be demonstrating to you how to turn financial stability into poverty. So, in all seriousness, welcome to Junkiez. This is the new channel. This is a collaborative effort between me and a couple buddies of mine. We haven't really planned it all out yet. It's not fully fleshed out. But basically, we're all going to contribute to this channel, and it's basically just going to consist of, all the progress that we make on our builds. They're going to be documented from now on, and all the shenanigans that we get up to in the garage, doing stupid shit with junk, and some of the trouble that we get into on the streets. I think it could be fun, and it'll be a new experience and a good way of basically documenting memories that we make along the way and being able to look back on things and just laugh about it. So that's basically what the plans are. This is my first ever YouTube channel. I'm recording off my phone right now. I'm going to upgrade soon. I'm going to try and invest in some good filming equipment. Basically, it's going to be somewhat just build vlogs and whatever. And then once we get the cars up and running for the season, we will have some Mexico content, whatever, shows, events, whatever we get up to. I'll make sure to bring you guys along. And yeah, we'll have some fun. So I guess the next order of business would be to introduce you to my build. This is my junk. Let me show you. So this right here is Catch 22. It's my 98 EK coupe. And yes, I already know you guys are going to say it. It's an EJ8, not an EK. But I like to call it an EK, and if that hurts your feelings, then you can go watch somebody else. Anyway, with all that out of the way, this is the car. I've had it for about 3 years and some change now, I'd like to say. And for the first, 6 to 8 months, I spent building it. This was my first attempt at building a project car ever. And I gotta say, it turned out pretty well. We got it running pretty good. Put a nasty little tune on it. It's been to events, car shows. It's been in some car shows. It's been on cruises. It's been at meets. We've done everything with it, and it's taken whatever abuse I could throw at it. It handles well, and it gets out of its way pretty good, considering that it weighs nothing. The car is fully gutted. There's no interior. There's just 2 seats and a dashboard and a steering wheel. That's about it. There's not much to say about it really. It's got some old coilovers on it. It's got stiff bushings, it's got some camber arms, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, there's not much going on right now. There's a lot that I have to do to it. I kind of like to do things the proper way, so I'm going to be throwing all my money at it for the next little while. And we'll see where we can get with it. But anyway, this is the engine. It's a JDM H22A. It's an OBD1 motor. It's a high mileage motor. I bought it. It was already in a different car when I bought it, and the car at the time I wasn't really qualified to do the repairs that needed to be done to it, but I bought it because I liked the motor. I liked the noises that it made, and I didn't really know much about them. I just liked that it went BRAP and had VTEC. So I bought it. The guy didn't really know what he was doing when he swapped it in there, and he liked the beat on it. So obviously it smoked a little bit, blah, 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 but it ran perfect. It ran really good. And it made some decent numbers on the dyno before. And yeah, it's proven its worth. And I think now it's time to give it some love. Honestly, it's earned it. The original plan when I first got the car running was to fully build a H22. But I looked into it, and honestly, sleeving one of these motors, and like I have a fully built motor. We're not going to talk about that right now, but I do have a fully built motor for it. I was just going to swap some stuff over, blah, 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 sleeve it. But to do that, it's pretty expensive. And I didn't really have that in the budget at the time. So my next plan was to build a Frankenstein motor. They call it a poor man's K-Series. But I think they're cooler than the K-Series because, well, K-Series are a dime a dozen. Everybody does them. It's pretty overrated. It's a G-Series. A G-Series is it's an F-Series block, whatever F-Series. I think it's like you can do F20, F22, F23. I have an F23 and a H22 head. Any H-Series, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% on it, but pretty sure there's a lot of different variations to that kind of build. Yeah, so what that does is it eliminates the FRM sleeves. It gives you iron sleeves instead, and it allows you to put forged pistons and whatnot. So then you can basically fully build it for, half cheap. Like I said, I like to do things properly. So I am going to be doing that, but I'm going to be throwing a lot of money at it to make sure that I can keep it as, as reliable and as, tough as possible. So, yeah, I already know that's not in the budget as well. So right now, for the season, I think for this summer, what I'm doing is I'm basically just going over this motor. I'm going to put new piston rings, crank bearings, rod bolts, thrust washers, that all that stuff. Reseal pretty much anything I can on it, and yeah, then we're gonna boost it. That's all there is to be said. I have a Pulsar 3582 that's gonna go on it. We're gonna, I don't know, probably make a manifold for it. The rest of the kit's just gonna be eBay, as you know, quality stuff, and we'll see what we can do with it. A lot of people like to talk about these motors as if they're ticking time bombs. Personally, I don't agree. I think it's all in the execution of it. Now, I'm not the most educated person to be making this claim, but honestly, I feel like I said, it's just how you do it. It's all about the tune. You got to be gentle with it. You can't expect to be making 1,000 horsepower on something like this, right? So what I'm trying to do is make, like, I don't know, 300 wheel in a car that weighs maybe like 2,100 pounds, 2,000 pounds. I think that could be fun. I'd have a blast with something like that. Right now, it makes like 180 wheel, and it's been great. So I think 300 is a good goal. It's not too crazy, and they say that these can handle those numbers. I truly believe it can. That's pretty low boost, pretty low numbers for an engine like this. It's a beefy motor, 2.2, and it's a high compression motor, so it should be able to make something like that fairly easily. And yeah, like, as long as you're not greedy with it and you don't beat the piss out of it every second that you're driving it, I feel like you can get some longevity out of these motors. So we're going to test that theory, and we're going to test it very soon. Moving on. You may be wondering why the front end is cut off this car. It's kind of a long story, but basically the car had some front end damage when I got it, and I didn't like that. So I also wanted to take the front clip off of it anyway, because it makes the removal and installation of the engine way easier, especially if I'm going to tuck the bay and paint everything and make it pretty. I don't want to scratch it, chip it, dent it, whatever. So if I could just, like, unbolt the motor, put it on blocks, and, like, roll the car away or whatever, just take it straight out of the front of it, it'd be so much easier, so much more straightforward to do. And so that's kind of my goal. But in the process of doing that, while I was taking off the front clip, let me show you. I noticed that there was a little bit of Bondo that was chipping away on the strut tower. So I took a closer look, started chipping away some more, and as it turns out, the damage that was done to the front of this car was a lot worse than I initially thought. This whole section here was crumpled. It was mangled, tin canned. There was no saving it. It definitely took a good smack on this side, and I really couldn't come to terms with just bondoing back over it and trying to hide it. That's not my style. So I got the grinder out, and zing, away she goes. This actually is the piece that I cut out. And, oh my god, as you can see, it was in pretty bad shape. The good thing is, I have a parts card for this car. As you should. It's a project car, you gotta have parts. So I got like 4 or 5 of everything that I can imagine for spares, and that's how you keep these things alive, because stuff is hard to come by these days, even for Honda Civics. So yeah, for this video, I think you get the idea. We're probably going to go out back in the pitch black in the middle of the night while it's like -5 Celsius, and we're going to go cut the side off the car. The reason why I want to get this work done tonight in these conditions at this hour is because I don't have a lot of time home. I work 5 days a week away from home in a different province, and I usually get about 1 day on my weekends to just do stuff, and this is that stuff. And I have about 4 months before summer rolls around, and this thing's got to be running because we got to show out. That's the whole point, right? Today, I literally left work and went another hour and a half out of my way just to go pick up this wing. It came with a trunk lid, and that wing for my buddy. Because I want to try a wing. I want to change the look of the car. This car is not going to look like this. We're changing the color. We're changing basically everything that it is right now, and we're going to make it our own. So, yeah, I want to try a wing. It's been wingless the entire time I've owned it, and I like the look. I really do. But I also like the look of these things. I think we can pull it off if we do it right. And so, yeah, that's going to be an experimental thing. But, yeah, if you don't do things while you can, they're never going to get done. So, with all that said, let's do some stuff. So, first order of business, go inside and warm up. I haven't even been in the house yet. I just got home. It's freezing out here. I'm going to take a second, go warm up my paws, and then we're going to get at it. So, we'll see you then. We're back. And we got some parts. I don't even know what this is, but it feels like there's nothing but air in that box. So we're going to find out. What do we have here? Alright. First box. Front main seal, rear main seal. We want to reseal everything. We don't want to be leaking oil everywhere like a sieve, and we don't want to be leaving rainbows under our cars. That's just not our style. So, this will help. Package number 2, valve stem seals. Once again, reseal everything. Don't want to be leaking like a sieve. Now let's get to work. Okay, so by the looks of it, we're not going to make it back there with this thing, unfortunately. So I guess we're walking.
A few inches later.
This is just awesome. What is that?
12 seconds later.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
1 eternity later.
Oh, there's got to be like 3 feet of snow down. This is unreal. Anyway, here it is. The old girl. Now, let's cut it apart. So, upon further inspection, it looks like this dude welded the motor mount to the strut tower. Come on. So, I mean, it's usable, but it's not the best, I'll be honest. We might have to reconsider. Alright boys, regroup. Well boys, that was pointless. But you know what? At least now we know. When I dropped the motor out of that car like 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't really take that good of a look at it, so I didn't notice that. Maybe I did and just forgot about it. But yeah, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. We'll move forward from here. I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to reach out to a couple connects that I have. I know of a couple shells that are around, and there's a couple old Honda graveyards that I can get in touch with. And, I mean, they're scrap cars. They're only worth their weight in metal. So I'm sure they wouldn't mind me going over and just cutting a small piece out of them. And we'll go from there. So, my apologies. There wasn't much getting accomplished in this video. You know, it is kind of a shame, but we got to start somewhere, right? So at least now you guys are informed. I'm probably going to try and link up with the guys at least for a little bit, and maybe we can get them involved in a video, just to meet the crew and get you guys more oriented with the channel. And yeah, we'll go from there. We'll see what we can get moving. So thank you guys for tuning in if you did. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.